New year, new you, and you might be wondering what your daily routine should be. Maybe you're burning the midnight oil still, and you're really struggling to find your groove here in the new year. So, in this episode, we're actually going to be talking about best daily routines to be successful in your business. So, go ahead, drop your best routines or suggestions down below, even if you're watching the replay. And let's dive into today's episode of Real Estate Marketing and Coffee. Welcome to the show, everyone. Welcome, Amanda. Good to see you. How's your morning?
Good, good.
I am so excited that we're here. And, it is one of those things at the beginning of the new year, the daily routine situation always comes up. And we're still in January at the time of this recording. And I feel like I'm not going to jinx myself, but I feel like I got a good hold on my daily routines for at least the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, I'm going to be honest. I'm right there with you. And usually I'm not at the beginning of January. And this
Yeah.
is the time that I'm like reassessing my daily routine and trying to figure out. But I don't know, something about 2022, man. I'm here. I'm locked in.
Yes. So feel free to drop down below any questions you have around daily routines,
Mhm.
share yours as well. And we're going to dive into a few of those that we have found to be successful amongst ourselves, as well as others that we've connected with and worked with our clients. So, first off, I want to talk about office hours because that's a big one that I know when I first started my business, my consulting business, that I wanted to implement right away. And it was one that most people didn't have set up for their business. And in fact, a lot of online service-based business owners actually don't do
Mhm.
this. And let's be honest, real estate agents probably don't have these hardcore boundaries either.
Real estate agents are honestly probably the worst at it. And I mean that with all the love, but I have never seen humans that work at such odd hours other than real estate agents. Like, man, office hours are a huge, huge perk just for keeping agents' sanity.
Yeah. And so let us know if you guys have office hours as part of your daily routine. Now, when I say office hours, let's break that down for a second. That doesn't mean it has to be 8 to 5. Like
Yeah.
that could be yours, but it doesn't have to be. Yours can be whatever works for your schedule and works best for your performance during your day, because that's something you have to tap into, and also what works with the clientele that you have.
Yeah.
Maybe you do work weekends, but you don't work Monday and Tuesday. Maybe you work Monday through Friday and you don't work weekends. Like, that's going to be up to you to determine.
Mhm.
But setting office hours is key for having a successful daily routine that keeps you on point.
Yeah, it's so vital. And I think it's tricky. Like, I think you said a key thing that works for you and your clientele, because I think it's tricky in industries like real estate where you can't really fit it into that 8 to 5, right? Because people are going to want to see houses on the weekend. Open houses are traditionally on the weekend, offer reviews, all of these things sometimes fall on the weekend. And so you're kind of forced into that weekend bubble. But I love what you're saying about pivoting.
Yeah.
Maybe you can't give up your weekend, but can you give up Monday and Thursday, or half day Monday, half day Friday or something, to kind of give yourself that consistency and that downtime? I love what you said there.
Yeah, you have to evaluate your schedule. One of the things that I work on with my video coaching clients is time audit. So we actually go through and work on what are you doing every day of the
Yeah.
week. And obviously it's not going to be 100%, but we go through that exercise before we even jump into how to go on camera and all the tools and all that. Like, we've worked with the time audit because you have to find the time first before you can even think about doing this kind of stuff, especially when it comes to video.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that all of us will say as an automatic response to being on video, going live, creating social media posts, and being active on social media is, I don't have time.
Yep.
That's the biggest excuse. And I'm
Uh-huh.
going to say it, it's an excuse that we all put out there as an automatic response.
Oh,
It
it's
just,
so true. We like to tell ourselves we don't have time to do the things that are important to us, but someone told me this, and it really shifted my perspective on holding firm to my daily routines and goals and all of those things is you're either fighting for your goals or against them. And I didn't want to be in that category of, because by proxy, if I'm not fighting for my goals, I'm fighting against them, right? So if I'm saying I don't have time to go live and do my video show, I don't have time to read my book, I don't have time to work out, like I'm fighting against my goals. Should those goals actually be my goals? And what I mean by that is like, should I actually truly want to work out, or should I actually truly want to read, or those things? And I'm advocating against it. That's huge. Yeah. And that, I mean, like when I had that perspective, it was like, oh crap. Like it made me realize like I have all the time in the world to do all the things. It's just a matter of what sacrifices am I willing to make in order to meet my goals. So it's so important.
And so that brings up another one then, is actually listing out your goals. And obviously, beginning of the year, most people are probably writing those goals down for the first quarter, the second quarter, maybe the whole year, and which is great. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. You have to do that step. But are you looking at them on the daily? That's a key to being successful with meeting your goals and actually exceeding those goals.
Totally.
For me, I've been able to not only write them down, but I put them in a place that I actually look at on the daily, which we'll talk more about that here towards the end of the episode to help those of you tuning in understand how you can implement the tips and tricks that we're sharing here on a daily basis.
I love being able to look at it daily. I think that was the piece I was missing in my life for so long is, I would write out these goals, but I would never revisit them, or I'd write out a bucket list or whatever. And then I was like, none of this is ever getting accomplished. Like, we got to change this, because it's literally just words on a notebook, not even a notebook, on a notepad in my phone, right? Yeah. Like, literally nothing's going to happen with that. But then I started looking at these things daily, or writing them out daily. And when I did that, it was like my reticular activator went off, and then that whole science behind visualization. And suddenly all of these goals just fall into line, and they become immeasurably easier to tackle.
Yeah, they really do. And so setting those goals, one of them could be that setting those office hours, like we talked about.
That could be goal number one right there. Exactly. We're helping you out here.
Yes. Yeah. We're basically giving it to you right there. So
there you go. Now you just need goal 2. You're welcome.
Yes, exactly. And part of being held accountable for that is having a system in place. Okay. So this is a big one, and everyone's going to have their own way of handling this. It could be a paper journal. It could be a notebook. It could be your iPhone notes. It could be your Asana, your Trello, your whatever. Pick something that works for you. Could also be your calendar, whatever works for you. But pick something that works for you, where you can actually have the accountability to look at these goals, to look at what you're trying to do each day, and then be able to check it off. And I'll tell you more about mine in a minute, my system that can help you with that. But really understand that there's every tool in the world can probably do exactly what we're talking about. It can give you a notification, it can allow you to see something, and it can most likely allow you to check it off, whether there's a checkbox or striking out the text. Just find something that works for you.
And that's the key, what works for you. Because I'm a paper planner person. I have to write my to-dos on paper. And I've had many people argue with me that that's not keeping up with technology. And that's fine. And maybe it's not. I double dip. So I have my to-dos in technology too. But for me, this is just what does it for me. It's how I remember. It will forever stay in my brain if I write it down. Yep. But it's what works. And it's what because it works, it's what I'm going to continue to do. And so I think that's a huge part of what you're saying when you talk about office hours and daily routines and goal setting. Like, what works for you is a really important piece here.
Yes. And you bring up a good point about the writing it down, because there is something that goes on, and I'm not a brain scientist or anything like that. But no, not yet. Wow. Maybe it will be on my goals list.
Okay, we'll add it. It'll be 1, set office hours, 2, become a brain doctor.
Yes, yeah. But it's one of those things that there is something that clicks from
Mhm.
here to the muscle memories and being able to write it down. And so
Yeah.
that if that works for you, that's good.
Yeah.
I am somebody that I like doing that, but I also like having a notification go off because
Yep.
I'm the techie and I love being able to have that piece of it. So I combine mine now to doing the writing and the tech part. I
Perfect. It
have,
works for you.
yeah, and I will say the last 2 weeks with my new system in place, I've actually removed the writing piece, at least for now,
Okay.
and it has worked
Very
because
cool.
the way I set up the system.
Very cool.
Yeah. And so that's something that you want to find what works for you. And if writing it in a book
Mhm.
somewhere works, that's fine, but make sure it's part of your daily routine that you're not
Yeah.
only writing in it, but you're reviewing it. And I'm going to tell you, you need to be reviewing it at least 3 times a day,
Yep.
at least.
Yeah. Because here's where I think people get hung up because I try to coach people on writing out your to-dos, whether electronically or somewhere, but getting it out of your head and onto somewhere that you don't have to be responsible for it.
Yeah.
Like this is one of my big things I will teach people because like you can't rely on this. So much is happening up here.
Yep.
And so often I just lost my train of thought.
That's all
It was
good.
gonna
It's
be
all
good.
good.
It was gonna be really good too.
That when it comes back, you just tell us. Like that's the beauty of going live and being able to have unscripted and
Yeah.
unedited. Like, it works because it's human, right? Like
Yeah.
that's what happens,
Oh,
and
totally.
it makes you more relatable. And it's one of those things that you were talking about how coaching your clients with the goal setting.
It's back now. See,
There we
I
go.
knew we'd get here.
Yep.
But so often I think they just write it down on one piece of I was trying to see if I had a piece of paper. I don't, but on one piece of paper, and then they just leave it there, and then they don't revisit it till the end of the day or maybe the next day.
Yep.
I will tell you for me, I write mine out. It sits right next to me all day. Or if I have it electronically, it's right on one of my screens because I need it to be at the forefront. But I used to time block for it and like to go back and look at my to-do list because it's so easy to think. Like I've had days where I'm like, I've probably crushed my whole to-do list. And I went back and I crossed off 2 and I'm like, okay, so I did a lot of other things that were not on my to-do list. So I did a lot of things, but not my to-do list. Or there's been times that I haven't checked it and I've actually done everything and I probably would have continued to the momentum because I was checking things off.
Yeah, exactly. It's huge. Again, you have to do what works for you.
Yeah.
And when it comes to setting up a system, that's part of that system. Like I'm going to share in a second about my
Yeah.
text system with the way I've structured it. But excuse me, make it work for you. If tech's not your thing and you do better with paper, that's fine.
Mhm.
Your system would be pen and paper, checking it throughout the day, making sure that you have key times when you start your day, in the
Yep.
middle of your day, before you end your day, where you're checking to make sure you're on point and checking things off.
Totally.
Because what I ran into was I would list things on paper, start to cross things off, but then I would pay attention to my
Ah.
stuff on my text side, and then I would get distracted with something else. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, so I got 3 out of the 5 off my paper one. I got 1 out of the 10 off my tech one. I'm not doing so good.
What's happening?
Yeah. So when it comes to the tech stack, and before I get there, let me just say this quote from Tom Ferry, because this was a good one. Quote, do the thing, have the power. And that ties back, I feel like, now to what you were saying earlier, Amanda, with that. Are you fighting for your goals or are you against them?
Yeah.
I mean, that's really, really powerful for thinking about. And just sit with that for a moment and think about that. While you all share what I've done with my tech stack. So this is an example. You guys, again, can use whatever system you have in place. I am a huge, huge fan of a project management system called ClickUp. It's similar to Trello, Asana, whatever else you're out there using. For me, what I did inside of this program called ClickUp is I actually, let me back up for a second. You use a project management system to manage your business, your whole projects, your clients, yourself.
Yep.
So if you don't have one, get one today. That's goal number one.
ASAP.
Yeah. Maybe that's goal number 2 or 3 on it.
Yeah, because you already have to set your office hours. So,
Yes.
and then become a brain doc. So maybe 3, I don't know. There's stuff and
Yes.
things happening.
Yeah. So make sure it's in your top 5. But when it comes to having a project management system, most people will either not have one or they don't use it.
Yeah.
So if you can get one of the 2 or 2 out of the 2 there, you're already ahead of the majority of business owners. I will just tell you that right now.
Well, and they're
It's
all relatively easy to use. I know that was one of my big hangups before I started leveraging a project management tool.
yeah.
Is I was like, it's going to take so much time to set up. I'm never going to be able to use this. They're super simple.
And they can be super complex, right? Like that's the beauty of them.
Yeah.
Is that it can go either way depending on what you need and how you operate.
Yeah. You just don't have to be like a tech guru to get started, I guess is my point, which I think is a really cool thing here. Like,
Yes.
you can leverage it. You don't have to have it built out to the nth degree. Like, figure it out, use it, make it a part of your habit, and then build upon it.
Yeah, I will tell you, I mean, I've been using a project management system the entire time I've been in business, and we're going 7 years right now. And so I've been using that, and I will say probably within the last 3 months, maybe a little less, maybe a little bit more, I've actually used it for myself. And when I say for myself, I put me as a client in my project management system to hold myself accountable. And this is something I set up for 2022 here, is that I literally have a file on myself that has each day, Monday through Friday, broken out with the tasks that need to get done that I know need to get done because I did that time audit that I told you about in the beginning of the episode that I work with clients on. That part of that process, you get to know what your regular routines are on the daily. So you take those, you put them in this project management system, and you have this reoccurring task, it's called, that pops up with your checklist for the day.
Very cool.
And in there, what I've done is it's not only a checklist of the things I need to get done for Monday, but it also has my goals listed. I have a daily affirmation listed in there of reason why I show up each day, why I do what I do, and a reminder as to why I do not only the work that I do, but why I'm here helping support others with getting in front of the camera and sharing their message, however it works for them, whether they're imperfect without all the lighting or they're with all the bells and whistles. It doesn't matter. Whatever is comfortable for them, but allowing them to show up as themselves and to be more approachable online. And I can't tell you how awesome it's been to have that daily task routine happen. And on there, it's not just what I have to do for the business or reviewing, the projects that are coming up and all of that. I also have PD time, professional development time.
Yep.
I also have going to the gym. I also have these other things that are important that are part of our day because we only have so many hours. And just because your tasks are here, how do I say this? You have your tasks here, but you also have real life, and they all still play a part in that 8, 10, 12-hour day, whatever you got going.
Well, we say this in real estate, or maybe it's Keller Williams. I don't know. We say this all the time in my world. But if it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. And when I learned that, because I live and die by my calendar, like if it's not there, it does not exist because I put everything on there. I have my go to bed on there. I have my wake up. I have everything is on my calendar, at least the things that I do consistently to where I can throw them on like that. And if you're like, hey, let's go grab dinner, maybe Thursday, I will put it in there in my calendar on hold because I know I will forget it. Yep. But I love the mentality of if it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. So I love what you're saying about finding those routines and those things that you naturally do on Mondays and Tuesdays and adding those, because if it's not on your calendar, you're inevitably going to forget it or not prioritize it. One of the two.
Oh, 100%. And here's the thing. The beauty of this system is that you're constantly aware of what's happening and you go back to it. So like I get an email in the morning with my task for the day.
Yeah.
And then I leave it in my inbox so that I constantly am seeing it. Obviously, I'm going actually to the app and looking at it and checking things off, but I'm in my inbox a lot throughout the day. So I leave it in the inbox. So it's a reminder. And then at the end of the day, I make sure to go check it again to see what I accomplished and what I didn't. And then, of course, you add to it throughout the day as needed. But it's one of those things that being your own boss, running your own business, nobody's holding you accountable.
Nope.
So it's your job to put in systems and processes to be able to hold yourself accountable and to continue to push through these different challenges that you face on the daily.
Yeah, totally. And I love what you're saying about revisiting it and holding yourself accountable. I think that's the biggest thing, is when you can start to hold yourself accountable, you're no longer accountable to someone else, you're accountable to you. And I don't know about the rest of you, but I don't like letting me down. It's not a good feeling.
No.
Like, not that I like letting other people down, but there's a little bit more grace there where I'm like, it's not like I meant to let you down. Like with me, it's like, did you just not prioritize you? Like, what happened here? And so when I can hold myself accountable and take that extreme ownership mentality of my goals, like that's when this stuff really clicks for me, because that's when once again, it's me fighting for my goals.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the key. You got to find what works for you and you have to take action. I mean, because you can do all this stuff that we talked about, but if you're not taking action, it's not going to work. Megan says she uses a day designer. Oh, I like that.
Yep.
I'm not familiar with that.
That's the planner I use.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I've used it for 8 years. It's it's like my lifesaver because of the way it works. It's got part of your calendar. It's got your like to-dos, and then it's got your top 3. And so how I do it is so that's why I say I use both like a text service, and because this is like my general to-dos. And then it's got like a top 3. And those are the things that like, I don't end today until these are done. Like come hell or high water, like it can be midnight, and we still need to do this thing, but it's getting done. But it works the way my brain works. And so I continuously have to revisit it. I'm continuously checking things off and moving things around. And it's the only thing that can keep me that level accountable to myself and give me that extreme ownership mentality.
I love that. I love that.
But it's because I'm revisiting it. Like you're saying, it's so cool.
Yeah. And before we end here, let's talk about one more thing about daily routines. So we talked about having office hours, writing your goals down, actually looking at them on a regular basis. We talked about tasks, being able to set up reoccurring tasks. You don't even have to have a project management system to do that. You can use your reminders on your iPhone or whatever app you're using. I'm going to encourage you all to have a project management system because it will do wonders for your business. And then we talked about the day planner just now. And then what I want to also put in there is, it kind of ties back to office hours. Understand when you function the best. Now, this is a big one because up until the last couple weeks, I didn't really think that working out in the morning was something I enjoyed. So I used to always go in the midday. It was kind of like my lunch break. So I would wake up, hustle in the morning and do all the client work. And then I take a break around lunch and go to the gym. And then I would like get that refresh and then work in the afternoon again, it was fine. It was a great schedule.
Sure.
But the last 2 weeks, something changed. And I don't know if it's because I started implementing this new daily routine or not. But sometimes in the mornings I wake up and I get a little anxious. And I don't know if it's anxiety or what, but like I'm like ready to hit the day, but I'm also like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Even though I have my list and everything, it's like, you kind of have to just go for a run or something to like,
you've got like energy almost.
Yeah. And so the last 2 weeks, what's happened is I actually have taken the mornings to work out. Like I ease into my day, I work out, I take care of the dogs, I do my thing, and then mid-morning, I start to really get into this groove where I'm like,
Yep.
okay, I'm like mellow, I'm jumping into work, and it puts me in this mood all day long that I'm just like soaring through the day. And then 5 or 6 o'clock comes around, and it's like, that was
I'm
a good
good.
day. I
Yeah.
got a ton of stuff done.
You
I
did the
checked off
things.
the list. Yeah, it's the craziest thing. But that's what I have found for me. And I messed it up one day. This is how you can test, by the way. One day last week, I didn't do the morning routine. I took some calls and my whole day was thrown off.
Yeah.
I was completely thrown off my game. I still made it through the day, but it was different energy.
Totally different energy. Yeah.
It was weird. So I don't know if you have similar experience, but I will just say pay attention to when you operate, mix up your schedule a little bit to test and understand that, again, you don't have to necessarily work 8 to 5 if that's not your job. You can set your own office hours and you can have the permission
Mm-hmm.
to do something different in the morning than everyone else.
Yeah. I think it's super cool what you're saying about like finding those like productive zones that you have. Cause I'm the same way as you for working out. Like when I get it done first thing in the morning, my day just coasts. I mean, it's like I am clear headed, I am there, I am crushing it. And when I don't, I notice a substantial difference. But what that always triggers back for me is thinking about what am I trying to force in the morning or in the afternoon that really should be in a different place, because there are things that we naturally go to. And so I try to pay attention to like, am I naturally trying to push meetings to the afternoon, or am I naturally trying to make phone calls in the morning? Because when I'm naturally trying to do it is when my body and my mind and everything are saying, okay, now's a good time, right? And so if I'm naturally trying to do more phone calls or meetings in the afternoon, maybe that's my productive zone for meetings and creative time. And I need to pay attention to that, because then it's not going to feel as much of a pain point. Because I have friends who love to work out in the evening. They've tried it in the morning. They hate it. They say it throws their whole day off. Totally fine. They're just a different breed than you and I are, which is great. But they know that about themselves, right? For me, it jacks me up. Like I get too jacked up. So if I work out at night, I can't go to sleep because I'm like, ah.
Yeah.
So I have to work out in the morning because otherwise I'm too jacked up and I can't sleep. And then I get into a bad cycle. But they know that about themselves. They know that it's calming and it kind of burns out the last little bit of their energy tank. And then, so for them, it's a different experience. So I'll even say, do the time audit Ed's suggesting, and pay attention to when you're naturally doing things, because when you're naturally doing them, like just left to your own accord, is likely when you feel good about doing it. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, and so building your time blocks or your daily routines and all of that around that's going to be really a whole different switch, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because then you're going to start doing your zone of genius in those times, or your productive times, and it's just going to start clicking, and the day's going to go by with a lot more productivity.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And if anybody is like, because we talked about the time blocking situation a lot. If anybody's wanting the template, like I have that, I can send that to you. It's something that I use with my clients, but if you just need that piece of it, just message me and I'll send you a link to it, because it is a helpful exercise that will help you with planning out your daily routine, and it will make you more successful in your business, because you will find the time to do the things that you're not doing, including video. Like that.
Oh,
I mean,
so
obviously that's the reason why I built it and why it's part of my program, but it's one of those things that it will allow you to find the time to create your videos and do the things that you're not doing.
Totally.
So with that being said, Amanda, that's all I have. I'm thinking we can wrap it up here, and maybe you and I will do a quick live over on Instagram just to show a little Instagram love.
Yeah, why not?
Not?
It's Monday. We're ready.
Yeah, we're here. We're doing it, and we've done it. We're good to go. So we appreciate you all tuning in. Even if you're watching the replay, be sure to say hello at any time. And if you need anything from either of us, please message us on social because we're here to help serve. Amanda's got your client care services and systems that can help you with that. And if you need any video coaching or tech stuff, that's where I can come in and help as well. And we will see you back here next Monday at 8 a.m. And until next time, go out there, crush your goals, get on a daily routine, and let us know how it goes. Okay? Take care, everyone.
See ya.